Hi everyone. This is Sai from LetsUpgrade. So let's talk about how to get your certificate. It's very simple. You will see two links in the description. Number one is the place where you have to go and mark your attendance. Marking your attendance tells us like, okay, you are a legit student who have attended this particular session. Link number two is your assignment. This is where your 90% of the priority is. You have to go and submit the assignment that is given to you in this particular session. Once you're done submitting that assignment, we will be evaluating that. We will send you an email. If you get the passing criteria, then only we will give you the certificate on a particular date that is mentioned again in the description. Please check these three things, and this is the way how you will get a certificate from Let's Upgrade. Number one, mark your attendance. Number two, just go ahead and upload your assignment. Check for the email that you have received it, yes or no. What is the feedback that you have received from your trainer? Number three, check on which date the certificates will be released. Thank you. Bye. All the best. Happy learning.
First video in our Python programming course. I'm so excited to be your guide into the journey of learning Python. And don't worry if you don't have prior experience, we will be starting from scratch. It's like learning the ABCs of the language of Python. But first, what exactly is Python and why has it become such a big deal in tech world? So, if you look at the history and the origin of Python, Python was created around in the year of 1991 by the creator Guido and Rossum. A name you will hear a lot in Python community, of course, because this person is the founder and creator of this language. For a fun fact, Guido named Python after his personal favorite comedy show, which was named as Monty Python's Flying Circus. Yeah, it's not exactly named after the snake, although snake could have been a cool mascot, don't you think? Since the creation of Python, it has become one of the most popular programming language in the world, and for good reasons, of course. It's simple, powerful, and yet dynamic and versatile. Now, whether you want to build a website, you want to analyze your data, create machine learning models, even automate certain boring tasks, Python has got you covered everywhere. So, what do you expect from this course? Let us have a quick overview. What are we going to cover here? Firstly, we will start with understanding the basic structure and how to write a simple code in Python. We will write our own programs, starting with the simple ones, of course, and then building up upon more and more complex projects. By the end of this curriculum, you will be ready to specialize and dive into deeper niche fields such as web development or data science. But for now, let's keep it simple and focus on building a strong foundation. This course, think of it like a toolkit for all the basic things are being covered for Python. Okay, so first of all, why to learn Python? What makes it so special? Well, for starters, Python is a beginner friendly language. When we talk about beginner friendly language, it's highly at a high level, which means it feels almost like you're reading a natural yet a programming language, something that goes with your level of understanding. Its syntax is clean and it's easy to read. In fact, many people describe Python just as a plain English. Reading a plain English is what reading a code in Python could sound like. Python is also incredibly versatile, as mentioned in the previous slides also. That is used for web development. We can create different dynamic websites. It's a powerful programming language when it comes to data analysis, machine learning. It has a lot of support from libraries like scikit-learn, pandas, numpy. It is a strong programming language when it comes to visualization and data science in general. And even it is used for automation tasks, could be robotic process automation or organizing your files or doing a lot of things related to automation. Oh, and in fact, did you know Instagram and Netflix are built on Python? So that's again one interesting uh, way to look at it, that why Python is so important. Many of the majority uh, solutions that we see in this world these days, could be products, could be different solutions, they are backed by Python programming languages. So I'll just quickly share my screen. All right. So now let us start with installing Python at the very basic level. Now, irrespective of whichever operating system you are on, could be Windows, Mac, or Linux, everyone is covered. Let us just simply search for Python download. The very first link that we find, www.python.org.downloads or slash downloads, this is the page where we can find the relevant Python to be installed. You can see about different Python versions which are mentioned on this website, and I would recommend to always go with not with a pre-release one, but something which is more stable. So maybe 3.12 or 3.13, which is by default mentioned over here. Download the latest version for Windows, and we simply install from this point. Now, with that being said, the next important thing is to install an IDE. Now, what does IDE stand for? It is Integrated Development Environment. Think of it like a simple text file or a notepad, right? Where you can write things. So IDE are notepads of writing code, right? You write code in IDEs. So I'll recommend something as simple as Visual Code, okay, which is again IDE, which is much versatile, highly popular, and easy to use. You can just simply click on the download link from here, and download should begin promptly. These are simple executable files. They are very easy to install and run. It won't be difficult to install VS Code on Linux too, right? We just need to fairly either use .deb file or run the CLI commands, and you can just follow through this page, and this will definitely help you install on Mac, Linux, or Windows, depending upon your operating system. So once we finish our downloads, we will be able to find the executable files right over here. As soon as we double click on the executable, it will open up the installation wizard. Let us talk about it. Now, in order to install it, there are multiple things that you will see in this wizard. One is to add python.exe to path. So if you click on this, this will help you register your Python's installed directory into system environment variables. So I recommend to click on add python.exe to path. By default, there is a tick on use admin privileges when installing this. So keep it as it is. Next is you can proceed with install now. With this, it will install the pip, the IDLE, and the documentations all covered with it. This is the optimal way to proceed with it. Once you click on install now, it might prompt you for the privilege that do you want to continue. You can just click on yes, and this will start your installation process. It might take up to a few seconds or a minute, but within that you will realize that the Python is swiftly downloaded on your system. Now, once you complete this installation, you can simply open up a CMD. Since I already have Python installed with me, I can proceed with this step. But in your case, once the installation is complete, you can just go to terminal and try to type python --version. You can open up any CMD, could be PowerShell or a command prompt. And with this, you will be able to see the Python version being printed. If you are able to see this on your screen, congratulations, you have successfully downloaded Python for now. Okay, we will go with the other installation. The same can be done for VS Code. Let me just quickly open up the executable. So currently I have Studio already installed. Let me just once shut it down. Okay, let us proceed with installing VS Code on our system. So once we click on the executable, you will quickly notice that we have the system prompt coming in that do you accept the agreement or not? We will just simply accept the agreement, which is the installation default agreement. We click on next. The two important tick marks which come pre-ticked are the add to path and register code as editor. Apart from it, you can create an optional desktop icon if you want or not. It's your choice. Once you click on next, uh, it is ready to install. We just need to run the install command. And once we hit it, it will automatically install VS Code on your computer. So let us start with understanding how we can write our first simple Python code. We will start with a very basic syntax, which is to print something. How do you print or give an output from a program, right? So it is as simple as writing a print command with round brackets open and closed, and under the apostrophes you put your, or inverted commas, you put your statement which you have to print. It could be as simple as hello world. Okay, so once we write this, uh, this is how we can simply write and save our file. We can click on file and save, or control S as being the shortcut. Now if you have to run this somewhere, we can open up a terminal, could be a PowerShell or command prompt, but since we are using IDE, we can just simply click on terminal and open a new terminal. Okay, the shortcut being control shift and tilde button on the keyboard. Once we have the terminal up with us, we can quickly verify the terminal opens directly in the current working directory, which is, in my case, it is C drive ML TFT projects demo folder. Now, once I'm here, how do you execute Python files, right? So we have to first mention Python. You remember how we did dash dash version as a command to check if Python is installed. Similarly, by typing Python space the file name at the exact path where we want to run it, in our case it is sample.py, if we just write it. So one smart way to auto-complete the path is, I'll just type few initial characters of my file name, and I will hit tab from my keyboard. That will autocomplete the file name if it is unique. So now if I hit enter on it, you will see I have my output right in front of me on the terminal at this point. But this is how we execute scripts of Python. We can have it running anywhere in any terminal, and we just simply need to find that path where the file is. With the Python space file name, if we run it, the Python will automatically understand that it has to run a script for us. Our script being very simple, it just has one single line to print something, and it prints that on the terminal, and that's good to go, right? So this is how you write a code in Python file that is known as a script, and this is how you run it through a terminal. Let me give you a quick real-world example of Python's power. Imagine you are running a small business and you want to automatically send invoices to your customers. Instead of manually typing and sending to each of the customer one by one, you can write a Python script and automate it to handle the process. That's it. With just one run of the script, the Python would be able to find all your customer database, write your invoice details attached with the email, and automatically send it to everyone. So that's it. With just a small amount of code, you have completely eliminated a lot of laborious manual tasks. And in fact, that's just one of the countless examples why Python can help you save time and effort, right? So setting up your Python is a straightforward thing. Now let us proceed, and I'll quickly walk you through a little bit about the VS Code, how it looks and feels like. Let me share my screen for that. So once we have installed VS Code, we can just simply... Alright, so once we have completed the Visual Studio Code installation, we can just go to our search and search for it, click on it, and it will open up the Visual Studio Code for us. Now, the UI might feel a little different for you. Of course, there will be a welcome screen. Since I've been using VS Code for different development purposes, you will see that I have a lot of recent files being displayed on my window, which you might not have for your case. So in that case, anyways, the most easiest way to start with VS Code is simply go on File and click on maybe open folder if you're in a new window, and you can simply create a workspace for you. Okay, so let me create a demo folder and open it. Okay, I'll select this one. So this is by default how my VS Code will look like once I'm into any directory. On the left, there is Explorer tab, which shows everything in the current directory. In fact, we can go to view, we can go to appearance and change a lot of things from here. We can even edit. The editor layout can also be changed from here, and appearance can be adjusted whatever we want from here, right? In fact, the theme, the background, the color palettes, a lot of things can be changed from here. Now, in the extreme left, you will find few of the utilities, which you should not be bothered at this point. We will simply understand. The first one is Explorer, which we are on. Through here, we can create some new files. By the first symbol is about creating a new file. The second symbol is about creating new folders. And the third symbol is to refresh the Explorer if there are certain changes done in this directory out of VS Code, right? We can simply start off by creating a new file, which could be like sample, and Python files always have an extension of .py. So that's how you create files in VS Code. Few of the extensions that I would recommend you to download, because VS Code, being an IDE, it is like a software which helps you write code. I'll recommend that you quickly go to the extension tab or the extensions icon, which is something like 4 small squares, this symbol. You can just click on it, and from here you can search for Python. You will find that the very first one, Python debugger or Python, these are few of the extensions that I'll recommend that you install it before or as setting up your VS Code, right? If you do not have them to begin with. So that's it. That's a little bit about how VS Code looks like and how we can create a simple Python file in VS Code. If you click on it, you will be able to write your code here, right? So that's a little bit about how VS Code is supposed to work. Thank you. So setting up your Python environment is like organizing your toolbox before you begin your project. Imagine that IDE and Python are essential tools which are needed to have before you start working on your dream project. So by ensuring that we have installed Python and by running up our IDE, we are good to go on building something awesome. And writing your first Python program, it's like saying hello world to the world of programming. And that's where we will begin with when we start our first program. So in summary, let us recap what we have covered in this session. We started with understanding the history of Python, the origin, and why it is such a popular language. We understood how we can quickly set up Python environment by going online and searching for the Python installation and IDE installation, which we chose as VS Code. It could have been any other popular IDE such as PyCharm or Spider IDE or any of your choice. We will now cover up writing the first Python program, and that's all for the summary. So how does it feel to have written your very first Python program? Amazing, right? Oh, if you haven't tried it yet, go ahead and type that out. Hello world is a very first step of any programmer's life, right? So today we will dive into the basics of Python, which are the building blocks that form the foundation of every program you will write, right? So think of it as learning the alphabet before you start writing a story. In this video, we will explore Python's basic building blocks. And trust me, understanding this is essential for writing a functional and meaningful program, right? Let's dive in. Let's start with variables. What are variables? Well, think of it like a container that holds data for you to use it later. For example, I have a jar with me. uh, I want to store something in it, right? So maybe I just take a pen and mention that this is a jar of cookies, okay? And in this empty jar, now I can fill in certain cookies, right? Because it is a jar that is meant to store cookies. I'll just close the lid. Now, congratulations, this is what a variable is all about. It holds something that you want it to hold, okay? Now, the size of the jar, the capacity of the jar is dynamically managed by Python. That tomorrow, if I keep on adding 10 and 10 or hundreds of more cookies, it will adjust the size in the dynamic memory of your system, right? So that's the basic idea of what variables are supposed to mean. Variables are nothing but containers, like a cookie jar. So as we can see on the screen, we have few different variables being declared, and this is how you declare variables in Python to begin with. The first one is a name equal to Alice. Now, it is a good time to also introduce or gently introduce the concept of data type, right? Different data types in Python. So as you see, I create a container to hold cookies. I can also create a container to hold chips, and I can use a container to hold something XYZ, or whatever it is, right? So depends upon what you're storing. So in Python, there are certain predefined inbuilt data types that we can use. One of which is known as string, which comes in the inverted commas. So name equal to inverted commas Alice. Now Python by default is smart enough. It and the best part is, actually, this is the best part, that Python is smart enough that holds the dynamic typing power. You don't have to specify. In few of the other programming languages such as C, C++, where you have to explicitly mention the data type along with while typing, in Python there's no need. Python can automatically understand that what data type it is. So until and unless you're following the syntax of Python, so which is as simple as name equal to, on the left hand side is the variable name of the equal to, on the right hand side is the value of what this variable is supposed to store. So the variable by the name of name will store Alice. Similarly, on the next line, we have printed age equals to 25. Now, as we can see, this is purely an integer. So integer is also one of built-in data type that Python holds. And similarly is underscore student equal to true, which is yet another different data type known as Boolean. Now, Boolean is a special data type where it can either be true or false. So as mentioned, there is dynamic typing in Python. What does this mean? That we don't need to explicitly mention the data type in Python, as it is predetermined or automatically determined by Python while we execute the code. So for example, if I'm writing x equals to 10, y equals to 3.14, or z equals to hello, by default Python understands that I'm talking about an integer or a float data type or a string data type. And know this interesting part, that containers can also be overwritten. So comparing it to something physical, that suppose if I had a jar and I wrote cookies on it, that it will store cookies. Now tomorrow if I want to store chips in it, I just simply need to erase cookies and write chips in front of it, and now store chips in it. So similarly, if first we create a variable, say by the name of x equals to 10, which is holding integers for us, we can overwrite again by mentioning x equals to, now it is a string. And once you print x, you will realize that now x is printing string. Let us also quickly verify this through our VS Code. Now in the very first script that we created, sample.py, let me create a variable x and store maybe integers in it. I'll use the print command. Now remember, Python is a indentation quickly. What is indentation? Indentation is nothing but a vertical imaginary order, that there should not be any unnecessary spacing between this vertical line following down, right? For example, if I am writing few lines, suppose if I'm writing print x, and if I by default or say through any error I add an extra space over here, you see suddenly the VS Code mentions this has gone wrong. There is an error. Even if I try to save it and try to run this file, python sample.py, you will see that there is an indentation error. So Python strictly follows a vertical line because when we go deeper into the concepts, when we talk about functions, you will realize that how indentation is used by Python. For now, let's keep it simple. Understand whatever we write, we have to write in the same vertical line, and by default, pressing enter make sure that you are following the indentation. So now let me overwrite x with something else. Okay, let me say now I am storing, or now I'm stored as string. Okay, now let me print text for you, and let me also add few more print statements to make it clear for you. I'll add before x is equals to comma. I can print two different things in the same command. That's fine with a comma. Now it will print the value of x, and we can also print one more thing known as before data type of x is. Now we can use a special method known as type, which will help us print not the value of x but the data type of x. Okay, now we will just quickly copy these two things. We'll paste it right over here and replace it with after x equals to, and after data type of x equals to. I'll save my file. I'll go to the terminal window and I'll try to firstly clear everything and now write python sample.py. Once I run it, you will see the output of my program. So before x was equals to 10 and before the data type of x was int, which is integers. And after the value of x, now it is overwritten to be a string, and so can be justified or validated through the data type printing. So I hope you found it interesting that how Python variables can be overwritten over the period of time of the code. So now that we have covered basics of what variables are supposed to be, let us understand something about comments. So comments are sticky notes of your code, right? So throughout our journey as a learner, we have learned to write few special notes or maybe use asterisk and write few things as comments to help us remember why we were doing this thing or what does this written text or written code signify. Comments are like adding some sticky notes for your code that can help you read or maybe serve like a manual or maybe serve like an additional information that why have you written this code or what does it do to begin with, right? So comments could be super helpful when you come back to your code maybe after a week or a month or some period that the code seems little irrelevant to you. The comments can help you remember back that wait, what was I thinking when writing this part of the code? Oh, now I remember it because I've stored my thoughts in comments and I've stored some of the reasons that why I was doing that or this, right? So let us understand different type of comments. To begin with, we have comments in single line. For example, it could simply begin with an hashtag. So in VS Code specifically, the single line comments could look like green color in the default theme, whereas there could be multi-line comments. So multi-line comments are used when you have to write comments on more than one line, and which is where uh, in three inverted commas in a row to begin with and end with, and anything between them could work like a multi-comment line. You can see it on the example provided in the screen that how you can declare single and multi-line comments. So after understanding comments, let us understand a little bit about input and output operations. So Python has many built-in functions. One of it is input, which actually helps you take real-time input during the execution of code. Suppose that I'm running a code and I have written a line in the code which takes input, the code will actually halt over there until and unless I manually intervene, maybe using my keyboard or the input device, and provide the input. Only then the execution can proceed through it. So we will just quickly understand and even try to demonstrate working of how inputs are supposed to work. I'll share my screen once again for that. Now let us go back to our sample.py. I'll simply start with a comment. This is a basic code to explain how input function works in Python. Okay. Now this is a little bit about strings. So let me try to even show you how multi-line string is supposed to work. If I write both of these things like this and wrap it with 3 inverted commas, you see it is a multi-line comment, and the green one is a single line comment. Now let us take input from the user over here, right? So I'll do input. So you see how by default input becomes yellow is because Python recognizes input as a special keyword, as a reserved keyword for the function name. So we cannot directly use input as a variable name. We have to edit something else. Could be input underscore data, and we will say is equals to input, enter your name. Okay, and then we will do print input data. So we'll do print uh, hello comma input data, which will be our name. Let us add a space to it, and let us say nice to meet you. So let us try to run this code in real time now. I'll say Python and the file name is sample.py. I run it, and you see now the code is in between execution. It is asking me enter your name over here. The input has to be given from keyboard by default. So this is how input is being used. I'll mention Gaurav over here, and once I hit it, you will see it completes the execution by printing hello Gauravdeep, nice to meet you. So I hope it was really interesting to see how input function works and how you can utilize it in different use cases to take input from end users. Now once again, let me quickly remind you about Python's indentation rules. So indentation define the blocks in Python, right? So for example, if I am writing something following a vertical line, if I want to write a piece of code which has to be in different level of indentation, I have to then maybe shift by using a tab or a space, both can work, but a tab is recommended. But indentation rules are that whatever complete piece of code that I'm writing, it has to follow a consistent indentation, right? Otherwise indentation error will happen, and it is true while writing different piece of the code. Let me show you a sample code by presenting my screen. For now we will just say print okay. So for now we will just say print hello and then world, and then print hello world, then maybe add a space and print hello world again. And when I try to run this code, you see I face the indentation error. And if I just simply remove the space which was actually causing the error at line number 4, which is mentioned in the error also in this file, line number 4, this particular code line is showing unexpected indent. If I remove it and then try to run it, I'll say Python sample.py. Okay, just a second. It's still maybe okay. I have not saved the file for now. I'll just quickly save it, clear, and then try to run it. Now it runs well, right? Now, although we have not introduced the syntax of writing different type of loops, but this is where when we learn loops, we will realize that there are certain piece of uh, codes which are to be written in different indentation level. Okay, for example, if I even write something like if 1 is equals to 1, then print 1 equals to 1, and else print 1 not equals to 1. So even if I'm writing this part of the code, you will smartly realize that this print command is at a different indentation level, and this print command in the else block is also a different indentation level. So by default, we always start with root indentation, which is the very first level where the complete code has to be. But if there is certain part of the code which goes into the second level, for example, if you're going into a loop, then the part of that loops block goes into a next level of indentation. And the more you keep on nesting, the more the indentation will increase. But at the end, the code will always end up on the very first indentation level uh, of execution. So let's relate to this real world, right? Variables are like labeled jar, as I already told you, and we can always keep in our mind that variables are nothing but a storage compartment, or maybe like jars in our kitchen, right? We store salt, sugar, spices in different jars, maybe even sometimes write on the jar what is stored in it, and that's how the Python is supposed to work. So maybe a variable can hold different things. For example, if we are talking about our cookie jar example, then we can store in the cookie jar informations like integers, that how many number of cookies are there in it, right? We can create a variable, name it something like cookie counts equals to 10, and the jar label could be another variable, and we can mention what exactly is the label of this jar, and we can mention the dimensions of this uh, jar, right? If it is a cylindrical jar, we could mention the circumference, we could mention the radius. If it is a cubic jar, we could mention the length, breadth, and width accordingly. So this is how variables can be used to relate to real world examples and actually store real world values in our code, right? So this is how we actually use variables to store real world data and work around it, manipulate it, use it, and consume it and publish it, right? So Python or any programming language helps you write readable codes, especially Python being a high level program language, helps you write readable codes in a way that whatever you have written, it should be able to create sense to other developers also, so that collaboration can work. Maybe today I'm writing about a code about cookies jar. I'm writing the dimensions, I'm writing the label information, and the number of cookies. My friend is working on completely different part of the same project. Could be he's working on the chips jar, right? How many chips are there, what is the weight of this jar, and things like that. So Python is really helpful over here, so that different people can collaborate, work on the same project, a different part of the codes, and work in bigger companies or smaller companies, doesn't matter. But this is how you can actually collaborate and work on real world examples in Python. Now, when I mentioned that two different people or more than two people can collaborate and work on a same project, say my friend is working on the chips jar and I'm working on the cookies jar. So since I am the one who is writing the code for the cookie, I can mention in comments, so that when my friend tries to read what I've written, he or she should be able to make sense of it. So, for example, if I have mentioned that number of cookies equals to 10, I can write in comment that this was noted down on so and so date and so time, so that in future if there's any anomaly, my comment can help my friend understand that why I wrote 10 and what was the reason of writing it over there, or things like that. Again, one more important point to mention or remember is the Python syntax. It's like a to-do list, right? You always follow an indentation, you keep it simple and clean, that things come with line by line, and each line has to be right below the next line. And if at all there is a certain part of this program that has to be written in different block, we increase our indentation level. So let us quickly recap the session what we have learned today. We understood what variables are supposed to be and what are different data types and how they are related to each other. Basically, variables help us store data types. We learned the importance of comment, and I believe that you will, from the very start, develop this idea that you have to write good comments so that your code becomes more readable. We understood how input and output works. Uh, Input function helps you take input from the user. Uh, Print statement, being one of the output statement, helps you print that on the terminal or wherever you want to print it. We also learned one of the most important syntax, and the rule of writing Python program is to follow indentation rules. Everyone, in our last video we explored variables and data types, the building block of our Python program, right? Now let's take a step further and talk about something that makes your code truly functional and interactive: the operators. So, what exactly are operators and how do they help us perform actions on our data? Let us find out. So, operators are like action words in your program. They help you perform calculations, compare values, and make decisions. So, in short, they are what turns your data into something meaningful. For example, you can use operator to add numbers, compare two values, or even combine multiple conditions. Think of them like tools in your programming box. Let us have a course overview and today's goals. Today we will be talking about basic operators such as the arithmetic, subtraction, multiplication, division operators, which are your basic arithmetic operators. We will be talking about some additional operators like the floor division, modulus, or the exponential operators, which raises the given number to the power, which is exponential. The modulus, it simply gives you the remainder of the division, whereas floor division rounds off your division. So let's talk about it. All right. So let us start off and learn a little bit about the basic arithmetic operators. Let's start with declaring two variables. Could be a is equals to 10 and b is equals to 5. Now we will understand how we perform different operators using two different variables. Could be more than two. Okay. So first of all, I'll first of all add a comment before my print. Hashtag arithmetic operations. So the first one is the addition. A plus B is equals to. Now, doing addition is as simple as writing the plus sign, and this is what the plus operator is supposed to mean. Similarly, we could have subtraction, which is A minus B, and printing it is as simple as doing A minus B. So what happens is that Python takes the variable A, understand that it is combined with a plus, which is an arithmetic operator, and tagged with another variable B. Now Python goes and check for the values which A and B are holding, which in our case is 10 and 5, and runs an arithmetic operator on these two variables, and the result is 15, which is being printed here. Now we could have also stored the result somewhere in yet another variable, something like c is equals to a plus b, which is still fine. And by default, if you will try to print c, it will be holding the value of 15. Similarly, we could have the multiplication and division operators. Let me quickly also bring them on screen. So multiplication is a asterisk b, and division is a single slash. Okay. Now, in order to introduce few additional operators, let us talk about the modulus, which follows a percentage symbol. Now, okay, so we will try to wrap it like this. Okay, it's fine for now. And so what happens is that when we print few things, sometimes there are certain special characters, like percentage being one of them. It is a part of regular expressions. If we add R in front of our string, it helps remove such discrepancies. Or in short, this is what a raw string is known as. So that if there is any special character that we want to print, Python should not treat it as special. but anything under the inverted commas should be printed as raw. Adding just r in front of it does the work. Now if I have to print again the exponential operator, so exponential is a double asterisk. So always remember, the students, that single asterisk is for multiplication, double asterisk is for the exponent, and similarly floor division is followed by double slash. So division single slash, floor division double slash. If I try to run this code now, python sample.py, you will see the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Remember how division is 0.0, converting your two integers into float. Modulus, again, there is no remainder to it. And the power 10 to the power of 5, and the floor division. So it gives you quotient, and that's how the things are supposed to work. It's round downs your value, right? The floor division. So if you see that division was giving you 0, floor division is giving you just the integer part of it. Now, similar to arithmetic operators, we can have comparison operators. Let us talk about them. I'll print, or I'll just quickly comment all the print statements into comments, right? So the shortcut to do it is select the piece of the code that you want to go under comments and use control and / together to convert everything into comment. Let us scroll down. Again, we will remember that we have two variables, say x is equals to 5 and y is equals to 10, whatever. Now let us try to understand how comparison operators work. So comparison operators, they definitely compare things, and when we say comparison operators, they compare variables for us in this case. For example, if I say print is x equal to the y. Now remember, the comparison operators could be equal to, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. So similarly, equal to is written as double times equal to y. Okay, let me also add certain text to make it more readable. Equal to operation, comma, copy, and let me try to make it as not equal to. So in order to print not equal to, we use exclamation mark equal to. So remember, double equal to means equal to, and not equal to means exclamation equal to is the way you write it in the code, right? So similarly, print greater than can be done with the greater than symbol from the keyboard. Less than can be done similarly, and if we keep on printing greater than or equal to, we can use greater than or equal to. Remember how it works. The sign of the greater than having two mouth open, whichever variable it is facing, will compare if x is actually greater than or equal to y, and opposite of that is less than equal to. It will compare whether x is actually less than or equal to y. Okay, or other way around, if y is actually equal to or greater than x, in the reverse way if you read it. So let us try to clear the terminal, try to run the code that I've written, and you will see for x equals to 5 and y equals to 10, is they both equal? No. So the answer is false. Remember, comparison need not be into string or integer. It is fairly reasonable that why it will be in boolean. Either the comparison holds truth or the comparison holds false. So equal to, of course, it is false. Not equal to is true because 5 is not equal to 10. Greater than, no, 5 is not greater than, but true for less than, yes, 5 is less than 10. And similarly will be the case for the greater than or equal to, right? So if I try to run it for 10, I try to save my file, I clear the output, and now if I try to run it, you will see both greater than equal to or less than equal to hold true, because even if they are not greater than or less than each other, they are still equal to each other. So greater than or equal to holds true in this case. So does equal to, and the remaining being false. So that's how the comparison operators are supposed to work. Let us talk about a little bit about the logical operators. So we might have already worked with logic gates in our previous academics, but if not, I'll quickly talk about it. Okay. So suppose there is condition 1. I'll use the multi-line comment over here. Suppose there is condition 1 and I'm using a logical operator by the name of AND. So there are primarily 3 important gates or logical operators I'll talk about: the AND, OR, and NOT. Okay. So basically, if there's condition 1 and there's condition 2, the output of this is true if both conditions are true. Okay, that's the core thought point that we should remember. If both conditions are true, then by default this is true. For example, if we have OR statement, okay, so the OR operator, it outputs or it prints true only when at least condition 1 or condition 2, any one of them is true. So let us retrospect once again the AND operator. Suppose I have condition 1 that x equals to y and a equals to b. So if x is equals to y, if this is true, the output of condition 1 is true. And if you go to condition 2 where a is equals to b is not true, the output is false. In this case, I am getting false. Okay. So AND operator only works if all the conditions are true. Even at least one of them fails, the AND operator's output as false. So this is where the OR operator is different from AND. OR will only result in false if all the conditions are false. Even if one condition is true, the OR will convert into true. Now, whereas the NOT gate is reversing the condition. Okay. So, suppose if we have NOT condition 1, which means if the output of condition 1 was true, NOT will alter it to become false. If the output of condition 1 was false, it will alter it to become true. Okay. So these are all logical operators. It will help you build logic around your code, that if this is true, then do that. If this is false, then do that, or so and so. So this is how we can use the logical operators. Let us try to print and try to see how it works. Okay. So age, let us try to say age is equals to okay, let us say user age. So user age is equals to say 20, and okay, and let us say country is equals to India. Okay, let us try to write a simple logic in if-else statement, although we are not focusing or we are not bothered about the if-else statement over here. Suppose if the user age, if I'm writing a hypothetical condition, this is how I'm writing actually the actual logic, then this is the essence of real programming that I'm introducing to you. That if the user age is greater than or at least equal to 18, which means it is an adult, and country is equals to India, okay, we want the citizen to be holding the citizenship of India. So if both this condition, you see how I'm using AND condition. So if user age is greater than 18 and or at least equal to 18 and the country is equals to India, then the user is eligible to vote. Else, you are not eligible to vote. Let us try to make sure everything is commented on top. Okay, now we will just save this code and clear the output, try to run it. You see, you are eligible to vote for India. Let us say we have one more person coming in by the age of 17, say for an example. Try to run this code, you're not eligible to vote. So this is how the logical operators can help you do different things all around it. Now, an interesting fact that one should remember over here is that everything that we are typing over here, for us, it is high level. When I say print, it is a natural language to me. It is English language, which means I'm printing something. But for computer, everything converts into the binaries, ones and zeros, right? So even integers like 5 or any character like A, B, C, they all are converted into bits, right? So for example, 010 would be the byte or bit logic for the 5. Similarly, we will have, say, let me have 3 is equals to, and 3 is 001. So similarly, now I'll certainly introduce to you the bitwise operators. Okay, let us talk about them. So bitwise operators is again an interesting thing to look into, right? Because it helps you write logic around the bits of the characters, right? So this is highly useful when we are working with hardware level of programming, and it helps there a lot. Okay, so let us dive into it. Now, if I simply write, let me say first of all, a is equals to 5 and b is equals to 3. If I print bitwise and bitwise or, if I try to print it, let me try to run this code once. You're not eligible to vote. Let me try to comment this part. Save. Now, if you see, the output over here is 1 for AND operator and 7 for OR operator. Now, the reason for that is when I convert 1 into bits, it is 001, and when I convert the 7, it is 0111. To quickly analyze the AND operation on 5 and 3 in different row level. Okay, so if you see on the first units place, both are 1, so the output of AND is 1, which will be stored right in this part, right? So the output of 5 and 3, the unit place holds 1. Now if you look at the other condition, 0 or 1, since the AND operation fails here, it turns out to be 0. Okay, now let us talk about one other type of operators known as bitwise operators, right? So they work in binary numbers, and as we know, the complete program or the complete uh, executables of any computer, they are at the end converting into binary, because CPU only understands 1 and zeros and binaries. So bitwise operators are helpful in advanced scenarios where we have to work on binary numbers and we have to apply bitwise logics or bitwise operations, right? So there could be many common bitwise operators, could be like AND, for an example, which works like our AND operator. Okay, I'll write it in multi-comment lines. Okay, so this is my comment that I will use. So the bitwise operator, the ampersand and stands for the AND operator in bits, and similarly the pipe or the straight line, something which is on keyboard right above the enter with the backward slash, that pipe is known as OR, Similarly, not is the tilde option right above the tab key on the keyboard, right? So we will talk about them. For example, I give you some reference to begin with. So in bits, if we try to convert, the number pi will convert into bit logic as 0101. The number 3 will convert into 0011. And if I have to do 5 and 3, have to apply the AND logic on this, right? So at each decimal place or at each unit place, the AND operation will be applied over here. So for example, in the units place, we have both 1 for 5 and 3, so the output is 1 over here. In the tens place, we have 0, 1, so the output is 0 over here. And again, in the hundreds place, or the third from the left unit, is 1 for 5 and 0 for 3, which is again a 0. And for the thousandth place, or the fourth from the left, both units have 0 0, so again 0 0 will convert into 0. So this will be by default output of 5 and 3, right? So not a surprise, basically 0001 is also the binary for number 1. Okay, so similarly, if I say 5 and 5 pipe 3, which is like 5 or 3, the logic would be that this would convert into OR logic, and by the logic of OR, it would convert into 0111, which is the output of 7. So we can also verify this by running it. So A is equals to 5 and B is equals to 3. If I print A, B, and if I print A, B like this, A or B, the output that I get right over here is 1 and 7. So I hope this helps you explain basically what the binary operators are supposed to be. Now that we have talked about different types of operators, could be arithmetic, logical, conditional, or the binary operators, let us talk about operator precedence and associativity. Now let us talk about it. That, for example, suppose if I have to write a condition, say result is equals to 2 plus 3 multiplied by 4, and if I try to print a result, you will see that the actual output, which is shown in comment, is 14 is what will happen here. So what will happen is that Python tries to evaluate your expression by built-in logics, okay, and by its condition, multiplication tends to have a higher precedence than addition. So if you're writing 2 plus 3 multiplied by 4 without any brackets, Python will definitely try to multiply 3 with 4 first, which is 12, and then add 2 to it, resulting into 14 as the output. So parentheses override the precedence and they introduce clarity into your code. So make sure to use parentheses to make your expressions more readable and to avoid confusion. Now let us talk about some real world examples where we can find the use of operators come into life reality, right? So let us talk about calculator app, the most basic thing which cannot find its existence without the use of arithmetic operators to begin with, even a basic calculator. A calculator has to do plus, addition, division, subtraction, multiplication and division, right? So these things, they help to come into reality, or to create products like calculator. We have to use these operators into coding behind any calculator app, right? Or even if we talk about any e-commerce app, for an example, so whether to apply discounts or to calculate the total or to validate coupon codes, right? That if the cart value is greater than 1000, then the coupon code is valid. We have to write certain conditions. That, remember how we wrote one of the condition in our code, that if your age is greater than 18 and your country is India, then you're eligible to vote. Similarly, the e-commerce will also have a lot of applications when it comes to operators, that when to apply any coupon, right? So if your cart value is greater than 500, only then say save 100 coupon is applicable. If your cart value is greater than 1000, then save 150 is applicable. And when to apply discounts and how to do calculations, maybe calculate your cart total, calculate your discounts. So this is where the e-commerce will find a lot of application. So operator's precedence is like following the order of operations in math, right? There is parentheses, then there's exponents, multiplication, and so on. And the logical operators, they are like deciding whether to carry an umbrella if it's cloudy or raining. So in that way, we can actually relate to these examples in real life, right? So when we have to do even mathematics with pen and paper, we use precedence uh, as a real world example. Even if we have to decide whether to take the umbrella or not, is done by logical conditions. So that's how we can relate to real world examples, and how programming is nothing but writing the conditions and logics to build something which is related to real world. So let us complete our summary by recapping what we have done till now. We have learned about different type of operators, could be arithmetic, comparative, logical, or bitwise operators. We saw the code snippets, how to write them and how to use them. We saw operator precedence and string operations. In the next video, we will talk about the control flow on functions, bringing logic and reusability into our programs. So stay tuned. Thank you so much.